I promised you a rationale for the Credo and Story exercise, so here it is. First, this course is a course in ethics, and ethics is one of the major branches of philosophy. The first 7 statements that you responded to in this exercise coincide with the 7 branches of philosophy. The first statement, I believe the universe came into existence by, is the ancient branch of philosophy known as cosmology. This branch of philosophy has been superseded in the modern world by astronomy and high-energy physics. The second statement, I believe the most reliable form of knowledge is, refers to epistemology, which explores theories of knowledge. The third statement, I believe the ultimate being or stuff in the universe is, refers to ontology, the study of being. The fourth statement you should have recognized immediately because the study of right and wrong, good and evil, is the subject matter of ethics. The fifth statement refers to the study of aesthetics, what we consider to be beautiful. The sixth statement refers to logic, which is at the base of all the other branches of philosophy. It's about reasoning correctly and inferring correctly. The seventh statement refers to political philosophy, which concerns itself with how people ought best to organize themselves. The final statement about what happens when we die is probably one of the most difficult, yet pressing questions we can answer, but it is not a branch of philosophy. The second reason I have you do this exercise is that I want to demonstrate that you are already philosophers in your own right. This is a good thing, and this course seeks to deepen your understanding of the branch of philosophy known as ethics, specifically as it applies to organizations. Third, a quick glance at the responses to the Credo exercise demonstrates that we come from a variety of different points of view, a variety of different world and life views. Even in this small class of 15, we show that we have very different perspectives on the meaning of life. Whether we like this or not, this is what so many people like to call the real world. One of the main purposes of this class is to attempt to find common ground ethically among people who have very different world and life views. Fourth, given that we come from different points of view, we need to be tolerant of other views, but not in some sappy, silly way. We don't have to agree with what other people think, but we do have to respect what they say and learn how to politely disagree. Disagreements need to be based on reasons, which is exactly what Hartman is attempting to do in his book. Fifth, this exercise is a philosophical and rhetorical exercise. When we think or talk or write about who we are or what we're doing, we either make lists or we tell stories. The Credo exercise is a list of propositions that you have set forth about what you believe to be true about the big questions, which people disagree heartily on. The story exercise is an attempt to get you to describe both what your life looks like and what your life means. I felt it important that we get to know each other a little bit better, which points up how difficult it is to hammer out common ground when it comes to ethical questions and problems. In every culture on planet Earth, stories came first and were followed eventually by critiques of the stories, lists of propositions that either supported the stories as true or challenged them. For example, in the West, the Iliad and the Odyssey, which really are the foundation myths of the Greek culture, written allegedly by Homer, were these overarching grand or master narratives about the Trojan War first, the Iliad, and then the adventures of Odysseus, later known in Latin as Ulysses. Plato and Socrates didn't like these stories. They thought that they were immoral. So the Greek philosophical tradition, a list tradition, critiqued the ancient Greek foundation myths, and this happens in virtually every culture. From the point of view of rhetoric, which is the ways in which using the available means to persuade other people. There are two things that we do with language. We tell stories and we make lists. Finally, and this is the true rhetorical part of this exercise, effective communicators use lists and stories to communicate. In other words, to be a successful speaker or writer, one must learn how to effectively organize one's thoughts in terms of propositions, claims, theses, and in terms of stories, which include examples, background information, and a whole host of short narratives that help to explain to the reader or listener why we've come to a particular position on a particular subject. We tend, in the modern or postmodern era, to be a list culture, but a plethora of scholars across the disciplines, including the business disciplines, have come to the realization that whether you're creating a ledger sheet, a marketing campaign, a management strategy, or whatever, it is absolutely critical to provide a narrative account of what one is doing. I recommend that you go back to see how your list of propositions about what you believe connects to or fails to connect to the story you told about your life. Seeing the connection between the two helps us to live a more examined life, a notion that Socrates, who started this tradition of philosophy, considered to be so very important.